once again, the fantastic broadcasting features that Assetto Corsa Competizione gives us on PlayStation meant I've just missed the last 3 minutes of action. I know Frank was still live with the race, so Frank, if you could just update us.
Yeah, I was unsure when we got cut off there, but I was just predicting a bit of a battle between DNA Tuccio there in 4th now and Ian in 5th, and DNA has managed to get the position back. Obviously it happened when the game had a moment, but we've seen DNA recover up to 4th position, and it looks like he's cleared off on the chase for Guga, so we've still got a little bit of fight left in this one. Hagee is also tracking Ian in 6th place.
Thank you very much. We'll just run through your runners and riders then. Pantalones is your P1. He's found himself in the lead after Lollipops lost it a few laps ago. He's 13.6 seconds behind. PTX Guga has inherited that P3 position because DNA Tuccio's had to serve a stop-go penalty. He's found his way back past Ian, who is your P5. You've got Hagee, who's had a fantastic recovery drive in your P6 position, followed by Dark Blue Dan, PTX Antnoons, RTI Iceman and Texas MC, who round out the top 10. We'll just go on board with Amuda 74, PTX Barboza, Zula and Seti are your final runners and riders, as AJS 000 has retired in the pits.
Yeah, I've just seen Lollipops again getting a little bit loose in the Porsche. I'm just wondering if he's bringing the car home with a little bit of damage or something wrong with the tyres, but I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be there in 2nd, but not looking like that car is the car he had at the start where he was really plugged into it. Looks like the spin or the incident has taken the edge off of that one.
Yeah, you're definitely right, because he's just lost 5 seconds that lap to Pantalones, so he must have backed off considerably.
Yeah, looks like it's a bit of a handful now, that thing, and tough to say if we're going to get another change of position now, unless somebody just has a momentary lapse and does that and gives up a few seconds.
Yeah, the field's pretty spread out right now. There's no one really closely lapping together anymore.
And I think actually when I saw the qualifying times, it was a slightly more spread field, like consistently spread field, but it was a slightly more stretched field than I saw maybe in Lobby 2, and I think over the distance of an hour you're naturally going to see that just second by second separate everybody, so looking like it's been fairly clean and uneventful for the guys further back, which isn't always a bad thing.
Nope, it isn't, and I mean the ethos that SOP Motorsport has adopted is anybody can race, so doesn't matter if you're P1 or P20, if you're 5 seconds ahead of the field or 5 seconds behind the field, you can come along, you can get involved with the events and join in on the action.
Yeah, it's good to be involved. Yeah, thanks for all of the invites and the events so far, dude. I know you're doing a heck of a lot of work behind the scenes to keep these running, so always appreciated by the drivers. I think it gives them a good space to like stretch their limbs and show what they can do. I'm just looking now to see if there's any gaps closing up towards the end of the race.
Everyone is pretty spread out. Yeah, everyone is pretty spread out now, to be honest. DNA Tuccio was pulled out with 3 second gap to Ian. Hagee 6 seconds further behind. You got Dark Blue Dan is another 6 seconds further behind Hagee, and then there's a massive 13 second gap to PTX Antnoons in P8. So I mean, Lollipops is always dropping behind now. He's 20 seconds behind. I mean, there's only 2 minutes 30 seconds left in the race. Guga's still got 28 seconds to make up, so I don't think Lollipops has completely dropped it. He was going to have to retire or anything, but he's certainly nursing an injured car home.
Now I did notice that Pantoneless crossed the line just ahead of the 2-minute barrier, so that will mean we've got this lap and one more pretty set, unless he decides to start driving in the other direction. So we are going to go an extra lap to the one that we're on. Obviously most guys have got potentially 2 laps ahead of them still, but yeah, where the leader crosses the line could affect a couple of guys who are running tight on fuel also. So if we see any gaps suddenly changing, that could be something to watch.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point then, because obviously the drivers would have had to fuel for the full formation lap, and obviously depending on when the leader crosses the start finish line, depends if the guys behind them will have to complete an extra lap that they weren't accounting for.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if anyone is making ground. Hagee and Ian have had this brilliant kind of battle that's not a visible battle, which has been flirting with 5, 6, 7 seconds for quite some time now, and I think the two of them, if they were together on track, I think we'd be seeing an absolutely barnstorming finish between them, because they're barely giving up attempts to one another.
I am just riding on board with PTX Barbosa and Sharks and Amuda 74 in 11th and 12th. Barbosa just tried to look for he just tried to look for a move right round the outside. He'll have one more lap to see if he can snatch P11 from the Aston Martin driver as the leader does start his final lap then.
All he's got to do is keep it on the road now, but hey, let's let him get that lap done before I say too much. But Lollipops was the first of the two to break. We didn't see why, but it kind of did show at what limit those two were running each other at, but one of them had to snap eventually.
Yeah, so Lollipop lost the lead at the beginning because Pantalones just had a fantastic getaway under the green flag, and then Lollipop's made the pit stop strategy work in his favour, and he ended up appearing in the lead. He lost he gained 1.5 seconds to Pantalones in the pit stop phase, and he just made an unforced error, which has found himself back into P2.
Absolutely. Barbosa is still, I was going to say is still battling Amuda, but Amuda, in outbraking himself, has unfortunately picked up some track limits, and that's given him a drive through. So that is the one place on track you do not want to accidentally cut, because you have to back out like crazy. So I think that's that battle. Maybe they're still going to run to the end, just for the joy of it. Why not, guys? Why not?
Now, I'm not sure how that actually works with a drive-through penalty on the final lap.
No, you might find he gets a default time penalty of something like 180 seconds. It's heavier than the drive-through, put it that way. But
because if he pulls into the pits, he will actually cross the finish line without going into a pit box.
Oh, maybe he could try it. Speaking of, you've got Pantoneless
he loses
in the final corner. Crossing the line now. Well done, Pantoneless. Quality drive, guys. You're seeing all the action.
Yeah. Amuda seems to have lost the rear end of that car then, coming around the fast right-hander. But we do have your race winner.
One less lap in the race. He had it.
Exactly.
One less lap in the race. And
so, ladies and gentlemen, your race winner of race number 3 is Pantalones. Then give him a round of applause. He's finished some 20 seconds ahead of Lollipops in the end. 26 seconds was the gap after that unforced error.
And you've got to hand it to DNA here, who's managed to bring Guga within 3 seconds. So he did everything he could to try and get that podium back, but the drive-through was just a little bit too much.
Well, it's one of those situations of what could have been, because if DNA didn't have that drive-through penalty, he would have been able to catch and pass Lollipops for P2.
Yeah, and we'd love to see it as Ian takes the checkered flag. Good drive overall there. I would love to know how he felt through that. And Hagee with a solid 6th, pretty much from the back. So
yeah, he was only 3 seconds off Ian then, actually. We are seeing drivers further down the field they were obviously lapped cars, so they're not going to get the chance to cross the finish line. As the leader finished the race, everyone P10 and below has already seen the checkered flag, so it is only PTX, Antnoons and RTI Iceman left to cross the finish line.
And Iceman, yeah, who's in the final corner, he's actually kept it inside the top 10 and finished ahead of a couple of those cars that looked like they were ready to get past early, so found some pace later in the race to stick out that top 10. Good job.
And the final thing to say is thank you for joining me in the commentary box then, Frank. Hopefully we'll see more of you in the commentary box with us within SOP Motorsport.
Thank you, buddy, and yeah, keep up the good thing. Yeah, it's good fun to do it, so I'll just try and stay between the white lines next time. Thanks for the...
That's right. Thank you very much, guys. See you again.